and we're going to stay in the key of D. So we're going to play a song in the key of D, and the chords, let's say we have a song that we found that's D, E minor, G, and A, which is the 1, minor 2, major 4, and major 5 chords. If you decide to use a capo, you could pick a fret, and we could move it up to the 2nd fret on the D position pitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a D, and we're going to move it up two frets. And if we move it up to 2 frets, we're going to still use our same root because we had the open D here, E, A, D, that's the root. And we move it up D sharp, E. So now if we're here, we're playing that same position, we're just moving up to a root where it's an E position. And we could capo that right there, and we could play the D position, but it would not be a D chord anymore. It'll be an E chord now. So if we're on the 2nd fret with a capo, we actually want to use the C position. And the reason that's the case is because if we're here, it's a C, right? But if we move up 2 half steps, it's now a D chord. So if we put a capo where the C chord is in the position on the 2nd fret, where it's in the 3rd position. Remember we said when the fret bar is on the 2nd fret, we're going to play in the 3rd position. So if I placed a capo here and played on the 3rd fret, that should be a D chord. And let's double check it. Here's the C position, that D chord, and here's a D. And it is the same. So we now can play a D chord when we're playing a C position on the 2nd fret. When the capo's on the 2nd fret, we can play that C pattern and play the D chord. So now, this chord is not a C chord, it's a D chord. It's basically doing the same thing that we did with the bar chord when we said E, and we're going to bring it up, and now it's a F sharp, and now it's a G. We're moving the chord and making it a bar chord. So in this case, we're basically barring with the capo. We're going to use a capo to be the bar instead. So if we look at the bottom of that page on page 12, we have a new root note. It's here. This is making it a D chord instead of a C chord like we had in the open position right here. So we moved it up 2 half steps to a D. Now, if you play in the key of D in the open position, play the D chord, G, A, B minor, or you played the D, E minor, G, and A like we said earlier, that 1, minor 2, major 4, and major 5, and I play in the C chord position here on the 2nd fret, we're actually playing the same chord. But if you were playing the D and I'm playing in the C position with the D chord, it wouldn't make sense for me to call out or write on the page playing in the key of D. It'd make much more sense for us to say we're going to play the 1 chord, or we're going to play the minor 2 chord, or we're going to play the major 4 or major 5. So then I can translate it to my own language that I'm speaking in. I'm actually speaking in the C position, not the D position. Because if I'm playing here, and you're playing in the key of D, playing the D chord, and I say play the C, you're not playing the C, you're playing a D position. And it's more confusing for me to for you to try to explain that. Instead, you would just call out the 1 chord, and then we say 1. We'll play minor 2, which is E minor for you, D minor for me, and then 4 chord is an F for me. It's G for you, and then a G is the 5 chord, and it's A for you. So that's how that works. So now we can play in the same key, playing in different positions, and we can do that, if you look on the next page, we can do that in the key of D with all of the positions that they have written there.